Hello, everybody. This is Every Day is Friday podcast. Now, we are going to be making a transition to making Every Day is Friday a brand that stands out among the crowd. If you want to help support, please go to the bio and hit the link to our Etsy store. Now, let's begin. Thank you.
If you have no equipment, I would say stick to docks. You're going to catch the most fish, no doubt, hands down. If you're going for the lunkers and you got some equipment on board, you're going to want to use those graphs and radars, try to find some deeper weeds, and let her go. Let her fly.
I like that. Let her fly. Can you tell me a little bit
Let her
about your
fly.
backstory about fishing, how you got started, and your whole career?
Yeah, so I grew up on couple different lakes. There's actually a lake close to me. It's called Commerce Lake. As a matter of fact, I used to walk down to the beach with my dad, and I remember this little baby orange rod, little click button. Just click it, catching bluegills, and then we moved to a different lake. Okay, but then we went to the pontoon, and then I caught my first couple big fish, and I was like, whoa, this is different. And so over the years, I just always just go out in my dock, fish hours on end, no problem. Just fell in love with it. And my first tournament, so now I'm a tournament fisherman. Eighth grade, fished my first tournament on Pontiac Lake, and I mean the rest is really history. And then we got big story. I mean each one of those tournaments is a big story in itself. So that's a little backstory.
How many tournaments do you think you've done over the years?
At least at least through the college circuit, 50, no question.
Oh, so you're professional.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
Go too
Semi-pro
crazy.
is
I haven't won one yet, but we've come close. Couple thirds, couple seconds. We're up
How many
there.
people
We're
are usually in
hunt.
these tournaments? How many boats?
100,
Put it that way.
easy. 100 to 120, sometimes 150. Depends. Like we went out to Lake St. Clair, and I mean there's two tournaments over 500 boats for sure. So it just depends. Inland lakes, probably like 50 to 80 boats. Just all depends.
So they just let loose all the boats at once, or do they just all sit out there and then they go, and you guys just all go fishing and come back at a
No,
certain time?
so it's pretty well organized. You got like the tournament director, and then he hands out a card to everybody after you pay your dues. Obviously, you got to chip in for the tournament, and then you get a random raffle drawing, and then you get your number, your boat number. So, I mean, I've gotten top 10 a couple of times for sure, but it doesn't matter when you got the Merc 225 rolling on the back going 70. You know what I mean?
Mmm.
Some
Cruising.
people have it, and others simply just don't. Right?
Oh, you're just passing the ones that don't have it.
Oh.
See ya.
I'm giving them the peace sign. See you, brother.
There goes
See
Zahner.
you at the fishing hole. See you in 10 minutes.
What's the best time of day to fish? Your opinion.
I'd say. So you got to remember, fish are a nocturnal animal, if you will. So they're pretty much way more active. Evening into dusk, into nighttime, into morning, and then they kind of turn off during the day because when that water temperature warms up, fish get lazy, and it's like, so there's a thing called the barometer, right? And that's like how much pressure is in the water. Basically, I'm not explaining this like I should know more like the technical terms for this, but basically, the fish's bellies swell up with air, okay? And so when they swell up with air, there's not enough room in their stomachs to just keep munching throughout the day, or they would. So when that barometer goes down and relieves some of that pressure, they get to feed, and that's why you always hear if you've grown up on a lake at the middle of the night, you'll just hear a fish just jumping out of the water for a fly or a mosquito, whatever on the top of the water. So yeah, definitely nighttime, evening, morning, best times to fish. Absolutely.
You have any advice for some topwater baits?
Oh yeah, I got tons of advice. You got poppers, right? Just a little.
I've seen those before.
Just a little stick bait. They got a wide mouth on them, and they sit on top of the water and go, kind of throw some water, make some noise. Whopper plopper too. Whopper ploppers are big. They have a free spinning tail on the back end, and they just fish just slam them, no problem.
Now, any lures like not allowed in the tournaments?
Yeah, so just live bait, pretty much. Can't use
Really?
live bait. All artificial. Yep. Yep. I mean, if you use live bait, everybody would come in just, I mean, massive amounts of fish, to be honest. Especially like if you're using minnows, like live minnows, and they just like swim around. And it's hard to mimic natural,
Mm.
organic, it's just hard to do that. So if you're doing the artificial, it takes more skill because you actually have to work that bait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, Jellybean.
Don't get nervous on me now.
Now I'm gonna ask you, what do you do when you catch the fish though in a tournament?
So you take your best five. So there's like a culling system that you have to buy, and it's about $20 to $40, and they're just things that slip through the gills and don't hurt or kill the fish, and they just like they're like hooked to their like jaw line, and then they have
Mm-hmm.
like a little floating foam thing that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so basically what you do is you get your best five, so you fill up your five, and then it's called culling, which is taking the smallest one out and replacing it for your next biggest fish, and you keep doing that over and over until you got the five biggest or till tournament time runs out, and then you come back to the boat launch, weigh them.
And it's just like the biggest fish wins, or is it? How does it go for like winning? Is
Yeah,
it
so
like
it's your best
biggest
five.
fish?
Yeah, they
Uh,
weigh all five.
they weigh them. Is it so you could like catch a pike, but it's not gonna be weighed the most?
No, it's just bass. It's just
Just
bass.
bass. Okay, so you're just fishing
Yeah.
for bass only.
They don't really do walleye tournaments in the U.S. It's more like a European thing. Got a lot of pike over in Europe. They do walleye
Well,
tournaments too.
well, I know in
A
Europe
lot of
they don't
walleye
have a lot of
tournaments.
lakes over there. I think you got to have some special like
You know
license to
what's
go even
so
fishing.
crazy? You know what's so crazy in other countries, Matt? There's like 170 different countries that have largemouth bass in them. Think about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go to Texas,
That
Texas
blows
has
my
the,
mind.
they just breed these massive just bass.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, it's
well
just
they don't have
perfect
a
climate for
downtime.
them.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they don't have winter. That's why they don't get so big up here because they like really like it's almost like a hibernation type of deal. They just stuff in the fall, just eat, 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 eat. Then when wintertime comes, they just get lethargic, slow, only eat when, you know what I mean, they feel it's necessary, really. That's why it's like more of like a, you see walleye come out of the ice a lot, or pike. But bass just, I mean, they get fucking football size and then they just chill out.
Smallmouth, right? We're talking about.
Well, smallmouth, largemouth. I mean, both go pretty reclusive in the winter, I would say. Just catching, I mean, you've been out on the lake with me,
Yeah.
ice fishing over the years. Just pike, Depends too. It's like, you go up north, you're catching jumbo 2 pound perch. You know what I mean? That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing too. It's like pressure on a lake is also another thing. So you got to know the body of water you're fishing. If that lake is super pressured, and what pressured means is like if there's a lot of fishermen fishing for the same thing you're doing, or if there's a lot of boats always running, scaring the fish, you're not going to find big fish in that lake. You're just not. Won't happen. I mean, you might find one or two over the course of, I mean, maybe 3 years. I don't know. That could go over five in Michigan, but if you want any kind of like trophy fish, definitely a southern thing. 100%.
Okay, so for a beginner fisherman or fisher lady or whatever you're fishing, um, what would you expect to catch?
Well, it depends. So if you're going to go out and use live bait on a bobber, probably expect to catch bluegill, which is a panfish, good eating. But if you want to go out for the sport of fishing, there's a lot of sport fish. You got trout, smallmouth, largemouth, walleye, another sport, but that's a good eater. You don't really eat bass. Bass aren't. They're just mushy. You know, it's just not a fish you eat. It's a sport fish. What sport fish means, you just throw them back, right? So you catch them, let them go to catch another day, type of deal.
Well, that's all I got for you today. Congratulations on your future fish you catch. See you next time. This is Every Day is Friday.
Beautiful. We'll see you later.